From beautiful Belgrade Avenue in downtown North Mankato, KTV and Stone Pass Studios presents the 2015 North Mankato Fun Days Parade. This year, it's a milestone for the city as North Mankato celebrates its 50th annual Fun Days, a celebration that dated all the way back to 1965 and a major flood that overtook the Minnesota River Valley. What we currently know as Fun Day started that year as the city officials wanted to recognize the efforts of thousands of volunteers in North Mankato, and surrounding communities who spent countless hours sandbagging, building dikes, and moving items in homes and businesses. One of those volunteers joins us here for the broadcast today. I'm Don Westfall, joined by a teenager in those years, Jim Whitlock, who got involved with the helping of all the arrangements, getting this city through a major flood at that time. And because of that, we're here 50 years later enjoying what we think is going to be one of the best parades we've seen in a long time, Jim.
That's for sure, Don. I'll tell you, I was a freshman in high school up in Loyola, and the call came in, emergency evacuation, go down to the Main Street Bridge and start filling sandbags. We really didn't know what this would lead to, but we saved the city.
And a big milestone it was in that year, a big milestone again 50 years later with the Fun Days Parade coming up. Of course, Jim, very familiar as far as his efforts with business on Belgrade. And Jim, we talked about the flood back in 1965. We actually went back deep in the archives of the city to come up with some pictures, historical pictures, that kind of give you a little bit of a reminder of what the city really was able to deal with that year.
Yeah, there we go. There's a Century Club. That's at the lower end of the picture there. And then as you go up to the left a little bit, you'll see there's a apartment complex. And then the old Comfy Bar. And then directly behind that in the center, that used to be Lindsay Window and Sash Company. Then you see a few houses and stuff that are back in the background there. The entrance ramp there is to the entrance ramp to 169, where 169 used to go over Belgrade Avenue at that time. Now, we're not really sure where this one is. We're thinking it may be down on the Judson Bottom Road. That was one of the spots where it came into lower North Mankato. Now, this was down just across Highway 14, or what is now Lookout Drive, from the city municipal building.
Yeah, and some of the photos we're going to be bringing up as we continue to roll these through is there you can see, looks like some type of a press conference north of 169. You can see the Happy Chef sign and the Phillips 66 station, which is still there as a station, but I believe it's a different ownership at this time. But obviously something of this magnitude, there was not just focus with the efforts from Mankato, North Mankato, but more city and even statewide officials. I would imagine people were coming in from all over to try to help out the effort.
Right. Looks like maybe a general or something there from the Army.
But we think that's the
engineers.
Kind of the North Star Bridge area. If you can see over on the left side of the screen there, some of the Hubbard Milling Towers. Yep. And then just, of course, I would have imagined that days, you think about all the volunteer hours that people put in, but obviously with some of the farm machinery equipment, there was no way a city would be prepared to deal with an emergency of this magnitude. So there was a lot of help coming in from a variety of different directions.
Well, there really were. A lot of downtown and stuff, a lot of farmers' trucks were just moving people around and stuff from sandbag area to sandbag area.
We're going to have actually a wide shot of this photo a little bit later, but it shows you just, I think it's the Corps of Engineers, how they measure flood water, but it gives you an idea about just that's a bridge there that's holding that sign up. So it was, obviously there was damage already going on, but it was close to just a major catastrophe.
And I think that represents feet above sea level.
Yes.
Is what that does. So you see where the height of 65 was.
Where were some of the major, this is obviously some temporary dikes that were built. Where were some of the major dikes that were built in the city that year, if you remember?
Well, down on where Lookout Drive and the Judson Bottom Road comes in, that was one of the major spots. And then out north along 169, where the subway sub and stuff is out there now and stuff. And that's probably where this area was.
You're talking about some of the technology used. What's called, we can pick it up on the side, an amphicat.
It's beautiful. I wish I had one today.
You could have a lot of fun with that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably some tires underneath it moving around. One of the city parks. And again, there was widespread damage. There were a lot of people, a lot of homes that succumbed to this flood, did they not?
Yes, it really did. In 65, it wasn't so bad. I know the city was cleared out, but we really didn't have that much flooding down here in 1965, but they did in a precautionary manner to evacuate the city.
You get an idea just on the far side. You can see some of the temporary dikes that were installed to save those homes, but still obviously areas that succumb to the waters.
I think that's probably the Sibley Park area.
There's that shot we had just referred to before. You thought this was that would be what we know, the old Honeymead property there.
Yep, CHS today. Yep.
But that would be kind of the Lahillier area then.
Correct, yep. I think we're on that west side of Lahillier there, and that's where it's showing the height marks. I know those bridges actually did go under in 65.
Wasn't funny at the time, but the fact that this company, this business was wise enough to have an evacuation sale going on, yeah. Kind of humorous to look back. You like the vehicle.
I love 62 Chevy Impala, yep, for sure. Okay, here's downtown, beautiful lower North Mankato. Now, these pictures are from the 52 flood.
Okay.
And that's where the water had come up so high. You see the paint there, that's Rydell and Austin Rydell, and that was pre-Dave Much's hardware store there. And then Page's Delicatessen. That is where Christie's Cafe used to be. Now this is Webster Avenue, and a big diking system was set up out there to keep the water back. Now, if you go all the way down in the background, right in the center at the top, you can see Good Counsel Academy in the distance.
So this picture is kind of taking the area of the Spring Lake Park.
Correct.
Just below the hill over that sliding hill. Okay.
And actually on the right-hand side, you see that little pillbox of a building there and stuff. You'll actually see that's still out there. That's what holds the water back from the Oxbow, which is north of that.
So the swimming pool would be kind of on the right side of that picture, and then there's a couple ball fields on the left.
On the left-hand side there. Live carp, 5 cents. You know, the carp was cheap back then.
It's still kind of cheap now. It's smoked. If smoked right, it's very good, yes.
And here it's you can see it's the 200 block of Belgrade Avenue.
Towers there for a long time? Towers Market?
You know, I don't remember Towers. That is probably where Dino's Pizzeria is today, 241 Belgrade Avenue. So.
And one final shot here, and this is actually where we're broadcasting from today, Jim. If you look kind of right under on the left side of the screen, the web gas, we're stationed right underneath there. So this is the Brandt building.
Well, if we wave, will we see each other on that picture?
I don't think so, unless we had one of those time machines. But you were thinking at that time the Brandt building kind of served as the coordinator, or a lot of the city city works was out of here.
That was the city municipal building.
All right.
At the time, fire station was in the back.
And of course, the gas station right there, that would be where Bender's is at nowadays.
Where Bender's Bar and Grill is, yes.
But that's where the broadcast originates from. That's our last historical shot. We're excited to start bringing you the parade currently going on here. 2015 North Mankato Fun Days Parade. Here we go. Of course, we'll kick things off here with the presentation of the colors. Provided today by the North Mankato American Legion Post 518. Their group leader, Mark Conrad, been around for 28 years. Of course, they provide Veteran of the Month ceremonies the first Saturday of every month at 10 o'clock on the west end of Wheeler Park. They've been doing that performance for 7 years as Dave Lang, sheriff for the county, Nickley County, just rolls past.
It's nice to see everyone standing, taking their hats off as the colors pass.
One of the best parts of every parade for me. Lyle C. Pearson. Coming up, we have some Korean War veterans as well. You see Frozen Chosen chapter number 41. And they are followed by the Lyle C. Pearson Disabled American Veterans chapter 10 at Unit 10. About 700 members. The group started out 75 years ago. Known for the kettle corn sales at different events, and Forget Me Not Drives clothing drives as well. Veterans from this group have served national and state commanders, contributed to war memorials, and take part in a lot of area cemetery and memorial services. Of course, you see them in a lot of the parades, picnics, monthly dinners, volunteer appreciation supper. Need to get a couple quick thank yous in before we get going further with the parade. We just saw some of this historical photos. Of course, helping us out this year, Courtney Keetzer did a lot of the work, the homework on that. John Herenstein and his group. Of course, also Brad Swanson helping us set up. A lot of people behind the scenes. These are some of the front people here that you're going to be maybe more familiar with in the city of North Mankato. Mayor Mark Dean, Diane Norland, Billy Steiner, Bob Freiberg, Kim Spears. Oh, we got a few pieces there. We got to assemble some candy. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. We need some nourishment. Indeed. Of course, city of North Mankato around for 114 years. Fire department itself, and we'll see some of the fire truck units coming up to follow this as well, Jim. They sponsor, the beer garden at Fun Days. They have a nice historical feature as well. One of the units they're going to be bringing up is the 1925 REO Speedwagon truck. And, of course, they also get involved with so many things that you might not be aware about here in the community. In fact, 6 of the members of the fire department, Jim, actually also serve as instructors for the fire training program up at South Central. So you see some very visible, obviously, the local governmental leaders. We just saw Mayor Dean and those come through. But we mentioned a few people behind the scenes. To bring around a celebration of this magnitude, Jim, there's so many people involved in the community volunteering time, not just with the parade, but everything at Wheeler Park. The kiddie parade, we might have some pictures of that later. A lot of coordination goes on into this event.
Yeah, it's something that takes all year long in preparation. It goes by in a couple hours, but it's small little details on this thing that make this one of the unique parades in the southern Minnesota area.
Of course, the fire department, they've actually about 35 members are in the North Mankato City Fire Department. We talked about the work that they do with Fun Days out at Wheeler Park. They also have a big waffle feed in November.
Up at Fire Station number 2. We actually had the opportunity to be up there last year for that. Very good. It's fun to see these trucks come by and really actually get a chance to look at them. Normally you're pulled off to the side of the road. They go by at not an extreme speed, but efficiently. And you don't get a chance to really examine them.
See the people behind the truck on the screen there. Those are the families of the fire department members, not only the firefighters themselves, but spouses and some of the kids along as well. Think we can coerce any of the kids into throwing up some candy?
I wonder if we'll get any candy up
I don't know. We'll see. We're working the crowd a little bit, but we've got no taker. There we go. All right. Thank you. We love candy. We can be bought.
Yeah.
Very easily. I'm always up for some more candy. That is cute.
Well, it's
she's working the crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
That's long. How approximately? Do you even know how long the parade route actually is?
In lengthwise?
Yeah.
Well,
that's a long walk for her.
Yeah, it's got to be 2.5 miles.
Again, City of North Mankato's Fire Department, Fire Chief Tim Pullman. And it goes without saying that we thank them for the countless hours that they put in. And obviously they serve an extremely important role to make North Mankato the great city that it is. KTV is the new home for Mankato, North Mankato Public Access Television. Visit accessktv.org for program schedules, channel information, online streaming, and how to get involved with community TV. Now in HD, again, accessktv.org. Again, Don Westfall, Jim Whitlock here, bringing you the 2015 North Mankato Fun Days Parade. Before we have the Lancers stop by and hopefully do a bit of a performance for us. Also, Jim wanted to take a look at another one of those highlights, things, something everybody looks forward to every year, the Kitty Parade. And of course, they did that on Friday night here during the Fun Days Parade. Not nearly as long in the length of it, but always fun to get the youngsters involved, see what kind of creativity that they can come up with, and certainly a lot of people like to go out and enjoy that.
Every year there's a theme.
They only go, I think, we were just talking about parade routes. I think they only go for about, about 3 blocks. It's not very long at all, but it gives a chance to get the kids involved. And obviously, they're out here today. A lot of them, we saw some of the kids from the fire department handing out candy. But this is, for the most part, you can see they bring along a pretty good selection of candy that they like to toss out. But today, they're here. They're working it on the streets, on the sides, with those bags, picking it up. Of course, one of the major treats of every North Mankato Fun Days Parade is the marching bands, and we have one of the best ones in the state here in Mankato. The Mankato Area 77 Lancers from Mankato Competitive Parade Marching Band, made up of 8th through 12th graders from throughout southern Minnesota, consisting of approximately 115 members in brass, woodwind, percussion, and the color guard section. They've been around for 37 years. This year's show is entitled Joy, consisting of excerpts from Reflections of Earth, We Go On, and Tapestry of Nations by Gavin Greenaway. Each of these pieces are included in Disney's Illumination Reflections of Earth, which is performed nightly at Epcot. The show's theme reflects the members' collective attitude when performing exciting music and drill, and the impression we hope to impart on our audiences throughout Minnesota and the nation. Again, they've been marching for 37 years in over 30 states in Canada. This year's Lancers are excited to be traveling to Orlando, Florida, to perform in the Disney Festival of Fantasy Parade from Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World. They've also, last year, won honors in Lake Crystal, Hutchinson, Owatonna, Brooklyn Center, and Benson. Here they are, the 77 Lancers. Sound good, looks good. And we can even say that for our next group coming through, Mr. Whitlock. Members of the Mankato City Council. We just saw a little while ago the North Mankato group, and we see Don Laney coming down the street representing the city of Mankato. I believe we'll also have a chance to take a look. There's Don Laney there driving the unit. I think Mayor Eric Anderson is going to be out amongst the crowd as well. The city of Mankato, around for 137 years now. And of course, everybody in both North Mankato and Mankato really benefiting from the united effort that the cities are putting forth. And all of a sudden here in recent years, Jim, you hear of things like best small cities in America, ranked 3rd in the nation as far as best small places for businesses and careers by Forbes magazine. Mankato is certainly starting to become known. And obviously, again, Mankato, North Mankato, a cooperative effort. Also, a big thing coming up here, 50th anniversary of training camp. Vikings will be showing up here in a matter of just a few weeks. That's the second longest continuing run of anybody as far as training camps go. Mayor Anderson, we got no candy here today. We could always use some candy. Oh, and he's going to put it right on the, look at that.
This one's full of crushed glass.
Thank you, Mayor.
Gold Cross, around for 32 years. Actually, 32 members in the group at Gold Cross. They've actually been around for 53 years. Started back in 1962 in Rochester, now in 14 cities throughout Minnesota and Wisconsin. Of course, providing advanced life support ambulance for full-time paramedics and casual EMTs and paramedics as well. Gold Cross making 4,500 calls a year. Take a look then at the city of South Bend, the community there, and their fire department. Now, Mayor Anderson, he gave us some Tootsie Rolls. We won't be needing he was in jest. There's no glass or anything in our Tootsie Rolls. We won't be needing those Gold Cross services anytime soon. And another one of the highlights every year of the parade, Grand Marshals.
And there's Dick Lyons on there, Marion Heyer.
See Bill Schimmel up there, and you said this year's Grand Marshal is?
That's Bob Ringhofer, and he was the city administrator in 1965 when we had the flood here. So.
All right, now it's another big effort, the Pilot On effort. They've been here part of the Fun Days Parade since going all the way back 1992 with thousands of dollars and thousands of pounds that have been collected for the local Echo Food Shelf. We need to thank a lot of people who help out with this unit coming through. Of course, Snell Motors, who provides the pickup trucks. Target for their red shopping carts. KEYC-TV, you see some of their personalities here, along with the Mankato radio stations that are part of Radio Mankato. KTOE, Hot 96.7, Minnesota 93, The Fan, KXLP, and KXAC, all who help promote the event. Again, everything, the benefit going to the Echo Food Shelf. Last year, Jim, they collected over 5,800 pounds of food and almost $2,000 in cash. That goes a long way here in the community to help out those who aren't quite as fortunate as others.
And I'm sure that they're really hoping that they can pile it on a little bit better this year. I know I've seen a lot of commercials on TV for it. I know that's one of the highlights with us and our family living on Belgrade Avenue here is we prepare for this and we put bags and stuff together and get it out and share it with them.
And, the thing is, Jim, a lot of times things can get highlighted, of course, during the holiday season, the winter months, but really there's such a need all 12 months of the year for those in the community who might, it's not an ongoing thing, but maybe just a short time span, just a little bit of help can go so far into helping out some of those who are, again, looking for, some food to take care of themselves and their families throughout sometimes during the year.
Sometimes when your back's against the wall, this is where you can go to get a little bit of help.
And again, we just mentioned a few moments ago some of the big awards that the cities of North Mankato, Mankato have gotten. These are those collective efforts behind the scenes that make companies, that make people want to stay in this community after they go to some of the local universities and high schools. And you're talking about bringing businesses in. You need every level of support like this. This is the stuff that people look at making those decisions. Where am I going to take roots? Well, why am I going to set up my community there? It's because of collective efforts like this.
Exactly. This is such a great community to live in. Raise your children here, good school systems.
I know you and I had to get the chance to get together the other day and socialize a little bit. We both, during our lifetimes, have had opportunities to live in other parts of the upper Midwest, yet there's a reason we both came back here. And again, this is just 50 years of the, after the floods of 1965, and you just see some of the growth and how people have interacted, and it results in something of this magnitude. It's just very empowering.
And I go on the road.
And some of the other units coming through. See part of the Radio Mankato. Century 93 there, KTOE.
Yeah,
Joe Bailey there, and
see
the K2E car, and right behind there, Dan McCarger, who thankfully has a much, much better looking person as his sidekick today. Usually we see Don Rivet, but Miss Mankato in the car with Mr. McCarger.
He's Dan McCarter is part of the morning blend on KTOE. Don Rivet, Wendy Wild, Barry Ortel.
Miss Mankato, she sang the anthem for us the other night at the fireworks. Did a great job with that.
Nice.
Yes, outstanding job. Oldies 105 and Hot 96.7. So a lot of units as part of the Pilot On effort here for the North Mankato Fun Days Parade. And they'll be followed up by the Bookmobile from the city of North Mankato's Taylor Library. Another one of those great programs that gets you supported in the community, getting an opportunity to go out in various parts of North Mankato to bring books and just, especially during the summer months, sometimes kids, I think they spend maybe a little bit too much time in front of the computer screens, not necessarily the TV screen, because if they're watching us today, they're making a wise choice, but we need to keep those kids active as far as some of their academic efforts during the summer months. Schwickert's, and it's 200 employees. They've been around for over 100 years as part of the North Mankato area. They are members of Greater Mankato Growth, Midwest Roofing Contractors Association. They've won some Carlisle Excellence Awards in recent years here. In fact, we're number 1 with the electricians, and number 2 with HVAC service. Best of Mankato Awards. They actually were established back in 1906 in Waterville and moved to Mankato about 100 years ago in 1915, and they became Greater Mankato Business Hall of Fame members in 1995. And we also need to thank them. They're a proud sponsor of the fireworks finale here for the 2015 North Mankato Fun Days. Thank you very much. I like you. I like, especially when the techs are giving me the candy. That's awesome.
Don, here's your Miss St. Clair.
Miss St. Clair, Lizzie O'Donnell with her attendants, Sheila Tashney, Danny Betcher as well, Miss Congeniality, Elsie Seberg, Bryn Hansen, not on there today, but I know she was Little Miss St. Clair. St. Clair had their city celebration a couple weeks ago, usually the third weekend in June, 3rd or 4th, depending on how the calendar year lies. The Vine Garage Band, been around for about 2.5 years. Vine's Faith in Action, sharing music with care facilities for those who are disabled or encountering difficult life situations. Of course, they just recently opened their new adult community center as a place to gather and join groups, get involved in activities. Band members all 55 years old or stronger, and they put some great music out. Hine Brothers Construction, been around for about 11 years here in the community. They've certainly made a mark, doing some great work. Aaron Hine and his staff. Fun.com. Fun.com is the largest online-only distributor of Halloween costumes. And they're already gearing up right now, Jim. It's hard to think about it with a little bit of a balmy day that we have going on here today, but they're already starting to gear up for the Halloween season. They're looking at doing some hiring of staff members. They get exceptionally busy, again, with their role of getting those costumes out across the country.
I'll tell you, I've been in their facility up there, and it's a real fun place to work. They've got the young guys and stuff on scooters going to grab the orders, and then they bring them back up to the shipping area and stuff. So it's a real fun place to work. I think it was well named.
Miracle League of North Mankato, with about 100 members. They've been around for 8 years. Miracle League of North Mankato is a baseball league for individuals with physical and or intellectual disabilities. Of course, everyone deserves a chance to play, and they certainly able to pull that off. The Miracle League of North Mankato.
You know, Don, I think at Rochester, and there's another place in Minnesota that has a Miracle Field now, and I think they're all associated with each other.
Of course, their field part of up at Caswell. Great complex up there, but they have their Miracle Field up there, and even looking at possible expansion down the roads. Y Barbers, place that you and I both frequent at times, Jim. They do a great job just a few blocks away here on Belgrade.
Yep, yeah, and the Eco Salon, Onada is what it's called, and there's actually the two businesses in one location.
Yeah, classic cuts. They even give you the hot lather shaves. Stop by anytime.
And there's Ellen.
She's working the crowd again. Auto Salon on Belgrade. Of course, they also won the 2014 Innovative Interior Remodeling Award from City Design. They got a pool table back there, too. We can check that out at some point as you hear the Lancer Cadets come through. Just saw the Lancers a few moments ago. Well, in order to become a big-time Lancer, you need the Lancer Cadets. You need to get that practice in there. Not everyone can march and step and play an instrument at the same time. I was able to pull it off in my days. I don't know if you ever had a chance to do that, Jim.
Were you chewing gum at the same time?
I was, because I was a
Yeah,
percussionist. I could do that. I needed that to step in time. Franson Bank and Trust. 52 years here in the North Mankato. We got that. Oh, it'll stay there. We're good. We're good. There's our little serving tray of Frisbee. It's multitasking.
Thank you, Fransden Bank.
Yeah, Fransden Bank, of course, serving in many different functions here. United Way, MRCI. They started out in 1963, and also there on Belgrade Avenue. And we just saw Leisure Education for Exceptional People. The LEAP group coming through there with over 850 members. Special affiliation with United Way, Special Olympics of Minnesota, and Leave a Legacy. Of course, they have their big dugout dual celebrity softball game coming up here as we're doing this taping just in a matter of days up at Franklin Rogers Park. But they started back just as a bowling league, but they certainly have expanded over the years into classes, sports league, Special Olympics, and a lot of activities for exceptional people in the community. Knights of Columbus, 329 members. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary last year. Of course, they worked with the Red Cross on blood drives, cleaning up Highway 169. And then, boy, if you look at all the stuff they contribute to ALS birthright, diabetes, the Lancers, high school graduation parties, Minnesota Citizens Concern for Life, just a lot of different things that they get involved with.
And Don, they run the bingo at the North Mankato Fun Days in the Wheeler Park. So go down and participate with them.
They also sell Christmas trees around the time of Thanksgiving and Christmas. And now we have Mankato Teachers Association.
One, two, three, flat.
Potentially the only
led by Arn Kind.
Arn Kind, yes.
Yeah,
I think
very
potentially
good.
the only synchronized lawn chair unit, certainly in our parade this year, maybe in the state. Wow, what functionality there.
That was fun to see.
Been around for 30 years, part of Education Minnesota and the National Education Association. Of course, they help out with so many things about the program. Adopt a Highway Sibley Lights, as Tyler Freiberg lets us know he's here with the Freiberg Petroleum array, as well as Shells. Of course, Shells giving away 100 BMW cars in 100 days. They've been in the Mankato area since 1919, helping local businesses, and they buy also some of their products from local businesses, and they appreciate the local support that they are given in their two locations. And now we have Messiah Lutheran Church praise band. Worship band in the parade for about 15 years. They run the Pop and Brat stand for over 30 years at Fun Days. Time to Casasa with Pioneer Bank, Jim.
You know, Dwayne Elias, he is a member of the Port Authority here in North Mankato, so he's a civic-minded person running the bank here in town.
That rush truck you just saw, they were actually going to have that at Wheeler Park for part of Fun Days. 15 members working here in North Mankato. They've been around for over 110 years in local communities. Of course, they would encourage you to Casasa. Wow.
Get some information on Casasa.
I'm all about
here.
that.
Yeah, very
okay, we
good.
got to get one.
You bet.
We like that. We're going to keep talking about Casasa. Yes, indeed. Wow. I love this spot, Jim.
It's perfect.
We get a
little attention.
Well, and attention we deserve, yeah. We talked about some of the marching bands, and now we're going to come up with Zoofadoo from Sioux Falls, ranging in age from 14 to 21. They write the music they use, the audibles, choreography, scheduling performances, and learning leadership and business through these operations. They actually are going to be performing later on in July at the University of Nebraska's Memorial Stadium in front of over 40,000 fans making their attendance this year. They anticipate over 200,000 people they will perform at in the events in Nebraska, Iowa, South Dakota, and certainly here in Minnesota. 22nd season of Zoofadoo. Other activities for Zoofadoo back in Sioux Falls. Of course, they participated in the March of Dimes March for Kids, the MS Society MS Walk, and the Sioux Falls Autism Awareness Walk. Last year, some of their proceeds and beneficiaries included the American Cancer Society. Hello there, Senator Sharon. Very good. Kathy Sharon stopping by to say hello. One of our great leaders for North Mankato up at the state capitol, doing a lot of great work for us. Arnold's of Mankato. Of course, they're getting involved here with the city of North Mankato. They donate the RTVs for the Fun Days weekend. Not a bad ride right there, Mr. Whitlock.
That is a nice tractor.
That is a nice one, yes indeed.
You know, they used to just look like tractors, and now they look like tractors.
And some of them, depending on the size, you can get like refrigerators in there. Of course, they all have satellites in the system, not only for some of the entertainment to keep you active during the time, but just to even, there's nowadays, Jim, they don't even have to really drive the tractor. The satellite takes them around.
Yep, computer driven. And, they're just they're aerodynamic now, and they're just fuel efficient. This is what I like to do with motors. I'd like to have one of those around my little glacier palace.
Got to get up there, Arnold, sometime and check that out. And again, we thank them for supplying the RTVs for the Fun Days weekend. The Merrily Players coming through, been around for 33 years. Their upcoming performances, there's one here of note, Jim, that I'm really excited. I want to check this one out. Of course, Junie B. Jones, the musical in October, and then Miracle on 34th Street in December. Leading Ladies in May. But Jim, the Buddy Holly story, I think that's a great thing. They're actually going to host that performance in the Cato Ballroom, which is exactly 1 week before, of course, that terrible plane crash in Clear Lake. Buddy Holly played in the Cato Ballroom.
Correct. My brother Dan was out there with a bunch of his buddies that were his age at the time, and I know that was in 1959 that the airplane went down with Buddy Holly on it.
The LeSueur County Pioneer Power Show. Of course, they have a couple of events out there. The swap meet is always the last weekend of April, and the Power Show itself is the last weekend in August. They've held that for about 30 years. 350 members are part of the Pioneer Power Show. Of course, they even have events for ladies out there as far as hats, dresses, quilt, sewing making, blacksmith shop, broom making. See some information also with the Wheeler Park Classic Auto Show going on. Another one of the greater bands here in southern Minnesota that always represents our area so well at some of the parades in the upper Midwest, the Maple River High School Marching Eagles Marching Band. It's comprising the communities of Amboy, Good Thunder, Mapleton, and Minnesota Lake. Got to be hot out there in those uniforms, Jim. So you just think about the amount of effort that not only do the students do just provide the entertainment, but the great job they do representing the communities in, at times, weather that's not the most conducive.
You know, there's times that during the parades and stuff, we've always had a hose out just in case we have to assist them at my property down there. And we always have bottled water out there if they need it. So.
Have a moment here while the parade is kind of stopped, and you know, we were talking about some of the great volunteers that get involved with the parade, and we were talking to John Harenstein the other day, the city administrator. Boy, they work on this parade. It's almost become a year-round kind of an activity as far as just the organization, working with some of the units. Of course, things heat up here once we get into the current calendar year. So I'd imagine back in January and February, getting information out. A lot of it is just continuity over 50-plus years of doing this. The route really hasn't changed much for recent years, but there's still a lot of effort put behind the scenes to pull this out. And it's a matter how quickly it can go off in 4 or 5 days. Again, the Maple River High School Marching Band. Parade season for them just about concluding. Usually it goes toward the end of July. And then they have to get ready for their various high school activities. A lot of the sport activities get going the second or third Monday of August. Coming up behind the Maple River Marching Eagles, we have members of the Mankato Baltics vintage baseball team. About 20 members with the team this year. They've been around for 8 years, associated with the Blue Earth County Historical Society. You know, they have a big game, actually, as we're doing this taping, just tomorrow against the Rum River Rovers from Anoka County. Of course, these players wear uniforms and use equipment that's replicated from back in when baseball was played in the 1860s and played with the rules of that time, meaning no gloves, no called balls or strikes. Considered a gentleman's game back then. No swearing or spitting, bad sportsmanship. Jim, you would have felt right in with that group. You would be great.
Yeah. After seeing the Twins the other day, I would like to see that.
Baltics, one of 9 vintage clubs to play along with teams in Wisconsin. In fact, there's also clubs in a lot of the states, Ohio, Illinois, Michigan. They'll travel up and take on the Baltics and other teams in Minnesota every year. Now we have Dance Express. Dance Express community-based studio that serves over 450 dancers. They get involved in a lot of charity events as well, including dancing with the Mankato Stars. And that, of course, benefits the Minnesota region as well through the American Red Cross. Last month, teams traveled to Orlando, Florida, and they were selected to perform at Walt Disney World.
Yep, there's Mitzi Roberts. She is the owner of the Dance Express. Does a beautiful job of it, too.
They got a lot of energy. They got some blocks to go. We're about halfway through the parade route in our spot here on the corner of Belgrade and Center. RDO Equipment with its 13 employees. They're actually going to be at Farm Fest next month near the Griffin Estates in Redwood County. They have stores also in Marshall, Rochester, Burnsville, and Sauk Rapids, selling and servicing John Deere TV and Hitachi construction equipment. Check them out on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. RDO Equipment.
Express personnel professionals, Grant Moody, and they are actually a member of the Business on Belgrade Association. We thank them for being a member of us.
Been voted best employment agency in Mankato the past 3 years by the Mankato Free Press. One of the largest employers in the Mankato area with over 300 full-time employees back in 2014 and around for about 30 years. St. Peter Well Drilling and Searles Well Drilling. Been around for actually 100 years, part of 5 generations of families who've owned the well drilling company, affiliated with American Groundwater Trust, On-Site Wastewater Association, and National Groundwater Association. And parades this year in St. Peter, Nicollet, Cleveland, and Goodall, the big Goodall Labor Day Parade. They actually, again, have 2 locations. The St. Peter location actually in Kasota, and the Searles just south of New Ulm. But combined, they cover most of the southern Minnesota area. Lee's Champion Taekwondo with Colby Winkler. They always put on a good show for us every year. Over 300 members in the group this year. They've been around for 22 years.
Nice job, guys. LCD, what's the 3 most important things in martial arts? Nice job, guys.
Should ask Cole, we got anybody who bust some wood for us or something here.
There you go.
There we got one back here. There we go. Awesome. That always makes for good TV. Think you could pull that off, Mr. Whitlock?
I don't think so. I don't think I could kick that high. Or hard.
I'd be more worried about busting a limb, but wow, you're thinking even about the logistics of even getting a leg up that high. Midwest Realty, Jim Norland in the group. Been past president of the local realtors. In fact, 5 times Jim's been in that title. Dick Norland now the president-elect of the local Realtors Association. They were in the first Fun Days Parade driving a Model A in a parade that started at West High School back in Mankato, went over the old Main Street Bridge and ended up in Wheeler Park. And also Lee Norgren, here's another historical note. The local JCs actually asked him to drive Miss Mankato in the Aquatennial Parade in Minneapolis back in the early 1960s. So Midwest Realty, they've been a part of parades for many, many decades. Valley Cartage Group with the 11 people in the company here at the Mankato Terminal. Been around for about 80 years. Won Anderson Corporation's LTL Carrier of the Year for 5 years in a row. 4th generation company. Started with just 2 trucks to now over 100 trucks, and they have 6 terminals here in the upper Midwest. Also in parades this year in St. Joseph, Minnesota, up near St. Cloud, Hudson, Superior, Holman, Wisconsin, and also Lake Elmo north of the Twin Cities. Not a bad looking ride right there.
Well, it's for sale, $30,000. Maybe for one of your boys? Huh?
Don't know. I might, if I'm going to buy something like that, I'm going to keep it for myself. That's part of the Domino's unit here. Free pizza? Had lunch yet, Jim?
I have not, Don. See if they'll ignore us.
I love pizza. We love pizza. I mean, I love Tootsie. Like I said, my affiliation can be bought. Don't think we're going to get any pizza today, Jim. One Main Financial, part of the City Group. Of course, we want to remind you of their Community Appreciation Days in November, founded in 1912 as Commercial Credit. Proud sponsor of One Main Racing and Elliott Sadler, and also supporting March of Dimes.
Minnesota Renaissance Festival. I love their display here today.
Minnesota Renaissance Festival.
One guy.
Of course, that goes anywhere from August 22nd this year to October 4th, plus Labor Day with 16 live stages, 20 miles south of Minneapolis on Highway 169. Miss Eagle Lake, Callie Steinberg, and first runner-up Bridget Tobin, part of Tater Days, which is actually, I believe, next weekend.
Besides NASA.
Well, that's Najwa out there, yep.
Najwa.
Of course, she's got her catering along with Olives, part of the Hilton City Center. And then also Masad's up there, the university campus. Fantastic food, fantastic part of the North Mankato community.
Don, we had an opportunity down at the Songs on the Lawn the other day to have a shawarma pizza. It was one of the finest things I've ever eaten in my life.
Handing out. No shawarma sauce? Oh, well, of course, Ray, yes. Yeah, yes. Oh, my God. Oh, what a sweet. Here we go, Jim. Best catch of the day. Check this out right here. Jim Whitlock and myself with some free shawarma sauce. That's going to go a long way. Excellent. Awesome. I'll set that right aside. You make sure you take yours home with you. If you don't, it'll
I love it.
It'll make it with me. Here comes the Cracker Jacks drum line. Yeah, we're already getting efforts from back in the truck. They want us to share this. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I did not hear that.
Well, then you have selective hearing.
Yes,
I know that.
exactly.
That's always good stuff. Pretty intense cadences right there. That's a drummer's word, cadence, but those guys can pull it off.
Pretty good.
All right, let's do a little bit more.
Jacks.
Let's see if they can work up for us here, Jim.
Jack drum line.
Wow, look at that. Even playing the other drums there. Not bad at all. Do you dream of Jeannie?
I do. I do. I was trying to think of what it was from.
You
Thank
and I,
you, Don.
yeah, I think
Quick
as
on that.
far as our crew goes, we're probably the only two who know that TV theme song. Tidy Clean from Mankato, been around for 19 years. Tidy Clean Restoration, serving a lot of different emergencies. Speaking of the 50th anniversary year of North Mankato Fun Days, we would have kept these guys busy 50 years ago with what they can do as far as fire, smoke, water, sewage, and mold repair. Kia of Mankato. Of course, they have their brand new dealership that opened late April. They've been here in Mankato since 2010. Been in the U.S. since 1994. Number one dealer in Mankato for the past 5 years. BioLife, members of our community since 1998. We're going to guess that this is Groove Inc. from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Always one of the exciting things of doing a parade is you never know where you're going to get units inserted here, Jim. But we're going to take a guess. And again, Groove Inc. of Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Obviously, they got the memo to stop here.
Well, yeah.
Groove Inc. from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Thank you.
Minnesota Valley Credit Union comes up next. Been around for 81 years, providing banking services to anyone living, working, or attending schools in Blue Earth, Nicollet, or LeSueur counties. Free checking accounts, great rates, also part of the Moondogs Fit program. Winner of the 2013 and 2015 Mankato Magazine Reader's Choice for Best Place to Bank. Founded back in 1934 as the Mankato Teachers Credit Union, now providing banking services to over 12,000 individuals and businesses in the greater Mankato area, and part of the Credit Union Shared Branch Network. Time for the Mankato T-Birds. Been around for 55 years. They actually won first place last year at the Midwest Shrine Motor Association motorized competition.
I've always enjoyed watching this, Don. As a young kid, I always wanted to drive one.
I think a lot of youngsters do that, and the synchronized moves. We'll take a look at what they can pull off for us. You see the Mankato T-Birds, Mankato Area Shrine Patrol, here on the corner of Belgrade and Center, the 2015 North Mankato Fun Days Parade. Don Westfall and Jim Whitlock again bringing you this year's broadcast, 50th anniversary of the Fun Days celebration. Snell as well for helping the Shriners out with their unit. Just thank Snell. Again, we need to make sure, Jim and I need to thank everybody, Brad Swanson, John Herenstein with the City of North Mankato and their crews for helping us out with the broadcast. And again, Courtney Keitzer with all of the work behind the scenes she's done with some of those photos we saw of the 65 flood, going back in the archives and helping us out with just logistically all the groups, the units coming through here as well. Home Instead Senior Care. Been around for about 4 years with 45 staff members and clients. Be a Sander to Senior program is one of the things they sponsor. Also the Mankato Alzheimer's Walk coming up in mid-September.
The Dotson Iron Castings, which used to be called the Foundry here in town. And, you know, they do a little special thing down there for veterans. So if you've had a veteran in your family, then they'll cast a little bronze thing for them. It's really neat. And they make bookends out of it.
But part of our community since 1876, so they've been in business almost 140 years. They've won the American Founders Society Founder of the Year Award. And of course, if you take a look at some of the semis around the countryside, about 70% of them have parts coming from Dostin Castings. Over 2,500 different parts are done at Dostin for companies like Toro Marco. There's Jack McGowan.
Always Jack McGowan. He's a guy that helps out for everything in the community.
McGowan Water Conditioning, 60 years strong, and indeed, if you're talking about a city advocate, a guy who just helps out in so many different ways, Jack McGowan plays an integral role in a lot of different things that are done, especially for a lot of the youth in the communities.
Jack comes down and provides the children's activities for the Blues on Belgrade concert, July 25th.
Complete Basement Systems, been here part of the community since 1975. Has won Angie's List Super Service Award, credited with Better Business Bureau. About 40 people here working for Complete Basement Systems of Minnesota. Able Towing, they actually get involved not with just things here with the Fun Day celebration. They actually also get involved with the Carver County Parade, part of the taco stand. So these guys are far-reaching as far as their community involvement. Been in business for about 8 years.
Yeah, that first tow truck, that was a conventional style wheel lift. And then this one now is a flatbed. Because there's some vehicles you just can't find a true neutral on them, and they have to be put on a flatbed if the motor's not running.
Next up, the Hosanna Highland Band. Been organized for about 3 years in the community.
Self-detained, you're forced to live in this mess I've made. And all I'm asking is for you to do what you can with me. I can't ask you to give what you've already gave. 'Cause I've been locked up with insecurity, and I've been locked inside that house. Nobody wants to keep.
Next up is Dan Wayward, part of New Star Realty here of Mankato. 15 realtors strong. They are affiliated with the Realtors Association of Southern Minnesota.
I'll tell you, Don, this year, last couple of years, the housing market is just exploding. Seems like houses are being sold, every day, but a lot in this area right now.
Well, again, the secret of North Mankato is getting out there. As far as businesses looking to relocate or start up new ventures. And again, you don't necessarily, if you sit down and give it just a little bit of thought, you realize how that helps the local schools, the businesses, the realtors, car dealerships. There's just so many peripheral things that will benefit from the fact that people not only here in Minnesota, certainly upper Midwest, but even nationwide, are starting to be a little more in tune with what a great area southern Minnesota and North Mankato and Mankato are. Dance Conservatory of Southern Minnesota, part of that group, with 200 to 300 students in a given year. They're going to be 32 years strong here this summer.
You got the Community Bank Mankato there. It's nice to see them. All right, here we're not being ignored. Thank you, Ben.
Very good.
Ben Hoffman from the Community Bank here in Mankato. Thank you very much, Ben.
Mankato our community bank hosting its Shred Day for customers in September. They've been around for 41 years. Family-owned and operated bank, has 4 locations, 2 in the Mankato area, also Vernon Center and Amboy. River Hills Pet Care Hospital with 4 veterinarians and 8 other staff members in the Pet Expo building, operating for about 20 years. They offer now currently offering a wellness plan that includes things like vaccines, heartworm test, dental cleaning, and you can do that all in monthly payments. And of course, they are also work with the local Humane Society of Blue Earth-Nickel County Humane Society, with free exams to pets who were adopted within the past 30 days.
Don, there's a lot of responsibility goes with having a pet. You have to keep up with the shots and their diets and everything else. So.
MRCI, providing employment assistance for people with disabilities or disadvantages. They served over 2,500 people last year, and they have approximately 450 employees in southern Minnesota. Again, 62 years for MRCI. There are many local groups as well that sponsors a thrift shop, a great way to, at times, give back to the community with some maybe items you're no longer using, clothing items, get a little bit of a tax break with the deduction, but also, obviously, the proceeds go to help out a lot of people in the local community. I think they were handing out Jawbreakers.
Ouch.
I love Jawbreakers. I love Jawbreakers, Greg. Greg didn't give me any Jawbreakers. I believe this is Rockin' Ronnie's final wrap van, custom Jeep Wrangler here. Taking a look at. I believe one of the other, the final custom vinyl van, the vinyl warp van, that's also, I think, Stomper up on top of there. Not a bad looking Jeep Wrangler right there, yeah. You'd look good in that. You'd look good in a lot of different vehicles.
I'd love to have a lot of different vehicles. I even like to have a tractor.
We saw those before from Arnold, yeah.
Kubota and the big John Deere. It is Stomper, isn't it?
Yeah. Another great year for Minnesota State Mankato athletics.
Fabulous.
At the press conference recently, Mike Hastings with his new contract, keeping him around in the top-ranked hockey team from last year. Dignity Radio coming through right now. I'm not even going to try to compete with that kind of sound.
Punisher.
Z99, part of the Dignity Group. 95.7, 103.5 Country, part of the Dignity Radio family here in the community. Handing out some sodas today as well from Pepsi. Thirsty, Jim? I'm thirsty, but the carbon. Oh, now there is a guy. Thank you very much. Wow. I was just going to say, I don't know how we could. I would love to chug one of these down a Mountain Dew here. Take a look at this one. I don't know if that's a new one or not, Jim. I'm not a current with Mountain Dew and all the varieties of sodas in this day and age. But some of these carbonated beverages, it's kind of hard to drink this stuff when you're trying to broadcast.
Very much so, Don. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no. This is, I tell you what. It's taken us a couple years, but people are figuring that we're going to give you all kinds of airtime if you give us some free stuff here.
Exactly.
You got the Casas little case, the shawarma sauce. Got the community bank coolers. I'm going to put my Mountain Dew in my cooler right now, Jim.
There you go.
Keep that, if nothing else, I'll have something to look forward to after the broadcast. Volk transfer. See that unit. Speaking of hockey games, we see that down at some of the games on a given weekend. Established back in 1949. You would look great in that.
I would love to drive that.
Fleet Safety Awards in recent years, along with Driver of the Month Awards from Minnesota Trucking Association, third generation president and owner Troy Volk. With Volk Transfer, of course, they are the official transportation company of the Minnesota Vikings training camp. On a given day, 50 to 75 trucks in and out of that Volk transfer lot. Ballman Roofing and Coating from Kasota. Been around for 7 years. Won the Versico Gold Medal Quality Award from 1911 through 1914. Founded in 2008. Have to go out to their shop sometime, Jim. They have one of the state's oldest cottonwood trees, and it's actually a tree protected by the National Historical Society. Schmidt Siding
and Window. Yep. Schmidt Siding and Window Company, Mankato here. They're right up on Madison Avenue. Now that's a nice 62 Chevy 2 Nova SS.
Been around.
Now, I would look good in that.
Don't leave me, Jim. We still got work for you yet. Been around for 66 years. Schmidt Siding and Window. Remodeling Magazine's award in past years, founded in 1949 by Robert Schmidt. They put in over 30,000 renewal by Anderson windows since 1996.
River City Rhythm. Giving us a little show here. Thank you.
You know, I had a sheet on
Here's
River City.
Keystone Senior Living Center. Numbers 7 years they've been around.
Top 25 senior living operating units. They have some amazing residents there at Keystone Senior Living.
Buffalo Wild Wings. 20 years in the Mankato area. You know, they're putting out a big addition up there. They have the Buffalo Wild Wings up there.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, check out their newly remodeled location on St. Andrews Drive.
Some of the area royalty now, Miss Festag. That'll be coming up next week. Festival of Agriculture at Minnesota Lake. Hannah Betting is Miss Festag. Currently reigning, also Miss Congeniality with her attendants, Emily Ozdaba, first runner-up, and Tiandra Tisi, the second runner-up. And again, Festag, actually, as we're doing this taping on a Saturday, it's actually coming up in just a matter of a few days. It's always one of those midweek celebrations. In fact, Johnny Holm will be there, I think, on Tuesday night.
He puts out a pretty good fun show.
Yes, he does. Hanson Siding and Windows. Been around for 13 years. A+ rating through the Bureau of Better Business. Complete exterior professionals do siding, windows, roofing, decks, and gutters. Heinz Toyota, for 55 years, part of the North Mankato community. Get involved with a lot of different local groups, including Benches and YWCA. Been on the Raintree Road location since 2008. Of course, the Toyota Camry, the #1 selling sedan in America. The Corolla, the #1 selling sedan around the world. Impulse Dance. Been around for 6 years. They have 250 members in the group. They, in fact, next month, middle of August, have their open house and registration for the 2015-16 dance season.
You know, and all these kids have been waiting in line for, 2.5 hours down here, just waiting for the parade to move. So a lot of them got to be tired.
One of the great parts of the North Mankato community, South Central College. They're a real asset to the local community here, part of the Minnesota State Colleges and Universities system. Been around since, next year will be their 70th anniversary, offering technical and professional programs along with liberal arts and science programs. They're in fact just unveiling a newer program this fall, Associate in Fine Arts degree, where the students after a couple years at South Central can then transfer to Minnesota State University Mankato to complete a bachelor's degree. Blue Earth County and Minnesota Citizens Concerned for Life, with a membership of over 1,200 families and individuals. They've been part of the community for 35 years. Of course, they'll have a booth at the Blue Earth County Fair. Oh, now what are we going to get, Jim? Oh, hey.
Toothbrush.
Toothbrush and clothes. Oh, my goodness. There's
That's Main Street Dental Clinics in Mankato.
That's right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This is tremendous. I'm doing better here than I ever did when I was taking a parade.
Consolidated Communications, formerly Inventus. Another name change for them again. Mobile Dental Clinic.
That's part of the Open Door Health Center, health clinic. See the group from Smiles. Southern Minnesota Independent Living Enterprises and Services. Been around for 25 years with their anniversary in October. Empowering people with disabilities since 1990. Providing independent living services, ramps, peer counseling services for people with disabilities. Now we have the Osmond Shrine Oriental Band coming up. They were organized back in the mid-1950s, filled with the Osmond Shrine Center up in St. Paul. Band performs primarily in community celebrations in South Central and Southeast Minnesota. And at a previous Midwest Shrine session, this band actually finished third out of 14 bands. They're based out of Austin, Minnesota. Of course, they're known for their work with the Shrine Hospital for Children.
Yeah, it looks like they really are having a good time down there.
Well, they've actually served an 8-state area plus part of 3 provinces up in Canada. LifeWorks coming up next. They've been in Mankato for about 15 years, just celebrating their anniversary. They'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary in October. LifeWorks is a nonprofit serving people with disabilities in North Mankato, Mankato, and surrounding communities in locating and maintaining employment.
Some look a little warm.
It's yep, and actually it's starting to get a little cloudy. I should take a look at the radar here, Jim. It's last year, of course, we were talking. We got a little wet at the end of the parade. We know there's a chance as the day goes on with the humidity in the air, but if I could bring Mark Torillo back from KUYC TV, help us out. But I don't see anything. Coming up on the radars now, we're taking a look at the Mankato Area Derby girls, the Mad Girls, with 24 skaters. They, in fact, in a few days have their big kind of internal bout between the Mad Blue and Mad Black. It's a fundraiser bout at all seasons. Mankato's first and only amateur flat track roller derby. A lot of their proceeds go toward local nonprofit organizations focusing mainly on women and children within our community. Risen Savior Lutheran School and Jesus Loves Me Learning Center. About 100 students and teachers strong, been around for 8 years. K through 8 school supported by St. Paul's and St. Mark's Lutheran Church. They had a basketball team that went to the state tournament a couple years ago, back in 2012-13 school year. Mankato Area Fair Trade and Town Initiative. Setting up free trade status for towns, schools, churches, and universities committed to promoting fair trade and availability and the use of products certified as fair trade. In fact, in October, they're going to have a night discussion with a focus on Guatemala, showing the film Connected by Coffee and having a discussion on free trade. Now the United Way, Barb House and her group, representing Blue Earth, Nicollet, LeSueur, and Waseca counties. Been around in the area for 84 years. They have a human foosball tournament coming up in mid-July on the 500 block of South Front Street in Mankato. Changed its name about 40 years ago from the United Fund to United Way, but 87% of all their donations go directly to the 52 programs they support. United Way, really a strong group here in the North Mankato area.
YMCA here in Mankato. YWCA, excuse me.
Been around for 89 years in the area, helping women, families, girls, and diverse populations. They're sponsoring an amazing race in mid-July, and in November they'll have their leadership conference. They're one of 4 YWCA organizations in Minnesota, and they're the oldest national organization focusing on women and their families. They impacted over 12,200 people in 2014, utilizing 280 volunteers that dedicated almost 10,000 hours of volunteer work. KJLY Christian Radio out of Blue Earth. With 25 employees, they provide Christian broadcasting in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. They have their big share-a-thon coming up in November. Started out as just one station in Blue Earth in 1983, but now with 7 stations and 14 transmitters reaching anywhere from Bloomington, Minnesota to Story City, Iowa.
Got the Bethel Youth Group, 80 members strong, been around for approximately 20 years. They're located here in Mankato.
Next up, Lines and More, just down the street here in Belgrade Avenue, Brook Davenport. With Lines and More, been around for 7 years.
Soon to be a member of the Business on Belgrade Association. We have not met them yet. They just moved in.
Kirsten Wellborn, Miss Bonnie Lass out of Mapleton, along with her attendance as well. Town and Country Days, of course, last month in June, but Miss Bonnie Lass, part of the celebration in Mapleton. Robert Burns program at the end of January. They've held that celebration for 139 years. Truly Scottish tradition there in Mapleton. Oak Terrace. First year in the parade, but they've been around for about 15 years. They received an award, a runner-up award for assisted living from assistedliving.com last year, and this year a third place award from the same organization. Locally owned facility. It has wonderful activity programs. Again, Dennis Hood and the group Oak Terrace on North Mankato. Mount Olive, Lutheran Church and School, near the hospital here in Mankato. Been around for 87 years. Oh, we're always looking for candy. Yes. Thank you. You can just leave. Oh, thank you very much.
dear.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yes. Actually started on the campus of Bethany Lutheran College back in 1928. Sponsoring youth groups, senior groups, men's and women's groups and activities, community volleyball night, and active supporters of the Echo Food Shelf. Now, Jim, we're going to have to go back.
Yep,
Yeah,
there's
they've
a
moved the
piece of
schedule.
ranch, yep.
We've been scrambling a little bit here in the second half of the parade. Mankato Pizza Ranch. Been around for 5 years, of course, have some of the country's best chicken. Kids night every Tuesday night to a senior lunch from Mondays and Tuesdays over the noon hour. Randy Holleran and the group up in Mankato. Friendship Days means we must be talking about Nicollet and Miss Nicollet. Of course, Friendship Days, they were just had that celebration recently. Hannah Beckius is Miss Nicollet this year, along with Haley Hulke, Madeline Diener, the attendants out of Friendship Days. And right behind them, Miss Janesville. There's Hay Days back in June as well. Kayla Wakeen is Miss Janesville this year with Emily Bornicke and Kylie Morton, the attendants. That music tells me Tom's Mechanical Music is rolling by with his Calliope in 1923. And then to bring it all up, Jim, Boy Scout Troop 29, Carl Fitzloff and the group of 45 scouts, 27 assistant scoutmasters, and 12 committees of parents. Since 1990, 50 young men have received their Eagle Scout. They always kind of finish up the parade here with the cleanup effort. They stress advancement, community service, friendship, and fun. They participate in Rake the Town in October, Scouting for Food in March, and of course numerous service projects in the city of North Mankato, as well as surrounding communities. And again, they assist with the cleanup efforts of garbage and recycling. You know, a lot of those Eagle Scout projects, of course, the countless hours that have been put in to complete those projects as well.
I'll tell you, Don, for 7 years now, we've got the 5th Annual Blues on Belgrade concert coming up here in 2 weeks. And it's the Boy Scouts that come in, and they come in on the Sunday morning, and they go through and they clean up everything. And about an hour and a half later, you can't even tell if there was anything going on in the neighborhood. So.
Need a special thanks in here as we're getting ready to close up the broadcast for this year. Max DeMars for the use of the Brandt Building, and that gave you those high-angle shots of today's parade. We also, again, like to thank Brad Swanson, Public Works Director for the City of North Mankato, for helping us out with location and power. Courtney as well, John Herenstein in the city offices, and again, a lot of the thanks to go out to everybody involved to make this year's parade possible. KTV is the new home for Mankato, North Mankato Public Access Television. Visit accessktv.org for program schedules, channel information, online streaming, and how to get involved with community TV. Now in HD, again, accessktv.org. Another year underway. We got through it this year. We're dry. We have gifts in tow. They're cleaning up the streets. 50th celebration. Been another tremendous year for the North Mankato Fun Days Parade.
It really has been, Don. So, as usual, now it's down to the park, and let's have a little bit of fun with the neighbors down here, and just show them a little bit of our hospitality here in North Mankato.
And again, it's not just this celebration. You mentioned the business on Belgrade, the blues on Belgrade. So many things go on to make North Mankato the great community that it is.
Exactly, Don. This is a beautiful place to put down roots and raise a family.
And we'll give you some credits here as we roll out. But to Jim, we thank you for sitting in the broadcast again this year, and hopefully we can do it again next year as well. It sounds like a date?
Thank you, Don.
All
I
right.
surely appreciate it. I'll be here.
All right, Jim Whitlock again. We'd also like to thank those involved with the broadcast today. Directed by Brian Christensen, technical director David Schuyler, graphics Sarah Milner, camera operators Anthony Miller, Max Graybow, and Brett Olson, audio engineer Zach Reinhardt, and the broadcast engineer Benjamin Weber. Again, for Jim Whitlock, Don Westfall, we thank you for watching this year's edition, the 50th annual North Mankato Fun Days Parade.